running to your arms. The riches of your love will always be enough. Nothing compares to your embrace. I love forever reign. I'm running to your arms. The riches of your love will always be enough. Nothing compares to your glory and praise. Light of the world. Lord, we thank you that you forever reign.
Good seeing you. Sing praises.
We ask now that we be able to worship you through your word, that you would speak to all of our hearts. Right now, that we would have a calmness coming to our hearts, that we would have a peace, a special peace, that there's no understanding. We thank you that you are here with us. You are always here with us. You are in us. You are all around us. You protect us. You keep us safe. You bless us with so many things, Lord. Thank you.
Slept on very
And
loud.
all God's people said,
Goes on now. I feel like I'm a polar bear or something. This way. No? Yeah, cool. Well, anyway, if you see him, tell him if Dad asked about him. Yeah, just say Dad was here. I don't know if you guys were here or whatever. I'm not gonna ask if they're okay, because you're always supposed to be able, because I'm the hammer man.
You know, I'm in the habit of saying happy Sabbath, but I keep hearing Shabbat Shalom, so Shabbat Shalom. Yeah. Thank you, Keith, and thank you, Jeff, and thank you some of the others that keep reminding me of that, right? You're influencing me. Hey, in a good way, man, right? I was telling a few people that it looks like our family keeps growing, so we must be fertile. God is a blessing to us. He just keeps introducing us to more and more of our family members, right? So, when you're part of this family is a family that is about one thing, and that is you are all loved children. Right? I want you to know that you are all loved children. Because your dad is love. It's not that he just loves, it's that he is love. You are, as an individual and as a family, you are a loved child. And so whatever happens in the community, whatever things are spoken that may be spoken in ignorance or with a perception that is misunderstood, don't ever forget that you are a loved child. And that's a good term. It's not a derogatory term. It's an awesome term. And that if somebody speaks against your family here, your inside-out family, the body of Christ, God's family, that we don't in turn speak against them. Pray for them. Bless them. Wish them a good day. And if you can't do that, simply be silent and talk to God. Yeah? And make sure that your digits on your fingers, especially the middle ones, stay in a loving position. There you go. Just like Larry says, right? Just like Larry says, right? As loved children, we're called to live according to love. Right? Because that's who your dad is. And I believe in that. I believe that it can change entire communities, and it can change entire cities. In fact, I believe that's what changes the entirety of the world.
Amen.
That the gospel itself is about your brother who also is a loved child. Because he came from the Father, that which is love. And in his love, he showed it in a way that no one on planet Earth or in all the universe has ever seen before that or since that. That's what we're about. We're not about fighting. We're not about arguing. We're not about any of those things. We're about expressing love in all the various ways that God has expressed them to us. So since this is supposed to be abbreviated by my own words, I need to live by my word, right? And so there's a passage here in the book of Matthew. And those of you that have been coming to the Bible study on Friday nights, this was not too long ago, but it's an important teaching. And I chose this for today because we're going to be going out into the community. You never know who's driving by and who might see it. So we hear messages from city council members and people that are in government and such, and they drive by and they observe us. We're not here outside of the eye of the community. Right? And so when they see you, and they know that they've seen you here, wherever you go in town, they say, I saw Inside Out over there. If they saw you here and then they see you 10 blocks from now, they're going, Inside Out was over there. In other words, another love child. Right? And that's awesome.
Inside Out.
That's awesome. That's good, Mike. Yeah. Because you're part of the family. You're not part of a 501c3. Part of the family of God. By His doing. And so because it's by His doing, then the things that He teaches here need to not be something that we learn as a doctrine. I don't believe there's any doctrines in this per se, except for, as I was talking with my brother Chris, that there's a doctrine of love. But the doctrine of love, even if we stay at the point of saying it's simply a doctrine, we can set it aside and go off and hate. But that's not what it is. If it's a teaching of God, if it's the reality of God, then it's something that identifies the innermost being who we are. Yeah, my brother.
I think the good thing about this doctrine of love is that the envelope to our whole life, once we get into what it really means, that we can love people that don't love us.
That's good. That's powerful. That's exactly it. And that's the transforming part. That's the thing that freaks people out. And at first they get mad when you love them, when they don't love you. Because it makes them freaked out. They don't know what they're feeling. It scares them. But with a little bit of time and consistency, Salem will start to see all of your faces and they'll be going, man, those people, they're different in a very good way. Aren't you glad they're all here in town? I'm convinced that God is in the process of doing that. In Matthew 20, and in verse 20 it says, Then the mother of James and John, the son of Zebedee, came to Jesus with her sons, and she knelt respectfully to ask a favor. What is your request? He asked, and she replied, In your kingdom, please let my two sons sit in the places of honor next to you. One on your right, and the other on the left. I don't care what anyone says, our society, whether they'll say there's a caste system or not, everyone will say there's not. But we all know the reality that there's one that actually occurs. People, by the way I look, there's people that look at me and actually say you're no pastor because you don't dress like one. What does a pastor dress like?
One sock at a time?
One sock at a time, yeah.
Or money sitting in a Cadillac, baby.
So people look at any one of us and they make a decision about where we are somewhere. Right? Let me tell you a story. Some of you have heard it when I was in furniture. I worked for a company where they sold furniture to the multimillionaires and they'd ship it all over the place and people would come and spend several $1 million for furnishing just one house. And so I interacted with a lot of people that are in that realm, and my job was to go take care of their complaints. People with money complain more than those that don't. I'm just going out on a limb there, because I've been around all. The whole spectrum. Well, one day I was in the back of the store, and some of the people that were not in the suit and ties, so there was the suit and tie part of the store, and then there was the look like Dale part of the store. Right? And I was in the look like Dale part of the store, and the suit and tie part of the store, there was a wall between the two, right? And so the suit and tie part were we're going to sell you something great today. And the look like Dale part was, we're going to clean up the mess part of the store. Right? Well, there was this whole buzz amongst the people like this in the back, and they were like, oh my word, can you believe it? I mean, look, we had Scottie Pippen, we had all kinds of people walk through those doors. We had a lot of celebrities walk through those doors, but these guys were really excited this one day because Bon Jovi, John Bon Jovi came in the store, and they're all freaking out. He looked even more ratty than the Dale side of the store. And he walked into the suit and tie part of the store, and everyone ignored him. They had no idea who he was. Walked all the way through. He was going to spend a lot of money that day, but he didn't. Because no one would talk to him. And so he walked right back out, got in his vehicle, picked up the phone, and called the owner. And he said, hey man, I was just in your store. I don't know what kind of operation you got going here, but I don't think anyone was interested in helping me. Somebody made some judgments based upon how they look. We can say that's not right, it's not fair, it's all those things, but it's how society operates. I don't have any pie in the sky ideas thinking that we're going to fix that. But imagine the surprise when people that look like a problem are the solution.
Amen.
We were at a local city community meeting with the city council lady there this last week, and it was very interesting because the city councilwoman was giving her report. And in that report, she was saying that there's this religious organization that's in a neighborhood near Division, that there's been 4 businesses that have complained about some of the things that they see. In other words, they're saying how we look. Didn't say who it was, but kind of ambiguous. And then it was ironic that my friend over here, Ken and Ashley, and with an awesome initiative that's going to be addressing things in a positive way. Down at the bottom of that, where Inside Out had been asked to be a part of it. And now Inside Out is on this list in this report about part of the solution, and we had just been stated as part of the problem.
Right.
I had a lot of things I would have liked to have said.
I'm sure.
God told me to shut my mouth. Perception is just that, but for the one perceiving it, to them it's real. What if every person is seen it inside out by the way we hold ourselves and by what we're doing? The community comes to a place where they're going, man, I don't know if we can live without these people. We need them. They're essential. I don't think that's a pie in the sky thing at all. Because you guys are love children. You don't need a title next to, the kingdom of heaven person. You are already directly related. This mother didn't even get the point. You're directly related. So we don't really need somebody to see us as having some great authority or as being some form of greatness or who we're rubbing elbows with or whatever. Ooh, John Bon Jovi came into the store. So what? He puts on his socks just like I do. But did he deserve respect? Not because he was John Bon Jovi, but because he was a human being. Because he breathes air and he has the life of God living in him. Listen to me carefully. There is not a single person better than you. Listen carefully again. There is not a single person worse than you. It's never been about that. The people complaining about us are not bad people. They're not worse than us and they're not better than us. They have a perception. And we need to be conscious of our perception of them. You have a peace with this too. Right? As we were studying the story of creation, the second part, we're going to get deeper into that this coming Thursday. You ever wonder why people don't just all live by themselves as hermits?
Yes.
Because God went down through the day after day after day as He was creating, and He goes, and the Lord saw that it was good. And He went down through the next day and He saw that it was good, and then He creates all the animals and He brings them to Adam, and He goes, and He saw that it was not good that Adam be alone. God put something inside of all of you, it's in your DNA, that makes you naturally become part of a community. It was in the creation story. Salem needs you. Often those who think they have it all together are the greatest in need. They need to see the loved children. I was receiving a text from a couple of my new friends. One day I hope they stand up and share the whole story. They're just now starting to have this experience with the presence of God in their life. And one of them, that's right, Jerry. And one of them was a couple of steps ahead in the last couple of weeks. And during a trial with some uncertainty, was encouraging the other one. And what was shared with me was the skeptic part, the one that it was being shared to, said that they saw what looked like a light encompassing the one that was encouraging. Any ideas about that? Any thoughts about what that might be?
The light of the Holy Spirit enkindle her.
That's right.
Light of love.
Today when we go out there, I want you lit up by the light of God. Right? That where you walk, the presence of God takes up that entire space. When the disciples walked down the road, I mean Peter, crazy Peter, serving out on a service project, not about who was greatest in the heavens, but now on a service project to go and serve the community. He's walking down the street and his shadow is healing people. Well, it wasn't his shadow, that was the presence of God.
Amen.
It's not even looking at itself to see if the light is coming out of you.
That's right.
It's looking at Christ and Him reflecting.
That's right.
So we're reflecting light out.
Yeah. That's right. Thank you,
Being
Nicole.
source of light.
Yeah, we're reflecting.